10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocketpool community. My name is Whack Whack Attack. Today is January 26th, and we've got a few updates for you here today. So let's start with this one from Joe. Joe says, I have an announcement. So let's find out what Joe's announcement is. Scroll down, and Joe says, it's been something like 1.5 years since I started playing with the idea of making the Rocket Pi, some kind of pre-made Smartnode box that people could just get and turn into node operators. Today, I'm super proud to say that I've officially shipped the first set of Proteus orders. Just got back from UPS, 6 have gone out. So I want to take this second to congratulate Joe on this amazing achievement. When I talked to Joe on Launchpad last month or earlier this month, we talked about like how he wants to kind of like make a change in the world. And one of the ways that he's been doing that is by making Ethereum staking more and more power efficient. And with the Proteus, that this is one of the most power efficient staking systems in the whole cryptocurrency ecosystem, everything, all of cryptocurrency. I think this is the most efficient staking system available, which is absolutely amazing to see. Also, with it coming with Smartnode on there, it makes it really straightforward to use for people who might find it difficult to get everything set up. Like I remember when I set up my NUC, I had to flash it with Unix and all that kind of stuff, and it was that was one of the more difficult steps for me because it was just brand new. But with this, it's just a matter of plug it in and you can start entering commands right away, and that's really, really, really awesome. So I'll be getting mine in the next wave. Well, not because I've got the box one, not the one with the fan, so those are going to come later. But I'm really excited to get mine, and I'm so excited that Joe has started shipping them. I think the first one's going to go to Phiz, and Bossy's getting one of the earlier ones too. So congrats, guys. I'm really happy for you as well. So someone says, is Joe going to use the software? Joe, promise you didn't install. Dr. Really Dumb here says, Joe, promise you didn't install a backdoor rug into the firmware. And then Joe replies by saying, I promise. And if you don't believe me, you can just pull the NVMe and flash it yourself. So, that would solve a lot of the issues. So congrats, Joe, for that. Okay, next, I want to follow up with something that we covered in yesterday's episode, which was Langus talking about the website refresh. So Langus said, the website's getting a refresh. Nick is working on it as we speak. The refresh is not predominantly orange. As with the current site, orange is reserved as the accent color, along with the refresh's content update and restructure to ensure we capitalize on Chappella interest and present our offering effectively. Once we have some solid designs, we can start sharing it with the community. So this kind of led to a discussion in the community about what that's going to do. Invis says, color me pessimistic. Patches says, but you're usually so optimistic. And Langus says, many such cases. But on top of that, people like Kevster and Mike, friend, said, I want more orange and I bleed orange. And then Dougie says, should we complain it's not orange enough? And then at least give us a switch to turn the entire background orange. And then Patchy says that's called meek mode. And then Maverick had an idea of light mode, dark mode, and orange mode toggles. And I think that would be really great. But I think this kind of led to okay, so we're all early to Rocketpool. All of us who are listening to this, watching this right now on January 26th, we're all early. Rocketpool has been going for 5 or 6 years, but in terms of staking, when you're looking at it in the next decade, 2-decade, 30-year timeframes, we're still very, very early. And this will be remembered as a time when Rocketpool as a protocol was still kind of rough around the edges, and we might be seeing the first signs of that getting kind of polished and smoothened out. And he is hoping that Rocketpool is going to grow and expand because of this and with this. But I think it's the beginning of a change that's happening. And it's something the community has welcomed, right? Like, we want more professionalism. We want, in terms of the marketing and the forward facing like website and stuff. So I think it's really exciting, but it might be that, some of us might be like nostalgic in a few years' time for the wave of orange that there was with the website and all the branding. So, I think that's really interesting. So, yeah, and this is what Bossy's saying. He says it's going to be funny because we'll probably all look back and miss the orange, even Meek. I think the day Meek misses the orange will be a sad and amazing day at the same time. So, yeah, that's really cool. Okay, let's have a look at next. We had a big mammoth discussion. Oh no, sorry, we didn't. That's not yet. That's coming up later. Next we have Rocketpool.community. So there's a link to Rocketpool.community, which is Hanniabu's site. So let me actually open that and show you, because I love this website. It's really cool. So here is the Rocketpool.community website. You can't see the top header on the site, but it says home, menu, and then it says about, arcade, asset library, orders, like a lot of stuff in alphabetical order. And then you can contribute or you can follow, and then there's different ways you can follow. So if you have a look over here, it's got lots and lots of community links. Like if you click on POAPs, you can see all the different POAP links that have come up through the community, and these go all the way back to the beginning pretty much, I think. Hanniabu, actually it went back to December of 2020. So it goes back over a year. So that's really cool. I think some of these POAPs are ones that I own. A bunch of them are ones that I don't own, however, because I wasn't that active in the community at the time. But the more recent ones, I own most of those, so that's really cool. But it's really a really great resource. And like I said, you can see memes, you can see anything like related to the community coming out of this. Some of the sections are more up to date than others, but it's all really great. And I think that this is a great resource for the community, and we should definitely promote this more for people to get a flavor of what's happening in the Rocketpool community. So with Jasper says, check out the website, and people are saying, even people who are in trading quite frequently, saying that they've never seen this before. Like Romana was saying, I've never seen this before. So we don't do a good enough job of advertising it. So I thought I'd use this time to give a shout out to Hanniabu and give a moment to talk about how great that website is. Okay, so next we had this poll from Yield Protocol on Twitter saying, we already support ST as collateral. Which liquid staking derivative should we add next? And then they tagged Rocketpool and Frax Finance. And Rocketpool had 82% of the 240 votes. And Frax had 13% and CBETH had 6%. So I just want to talk, not necessarily about this particular poll, but there's a whole lot of buzz happening about Rocketpool on Twitter and other crypto spaces right now, and more protocols are talking about integrating rETH, and there's just a huge buzz going on that is quite frankly astonishing how it's maintained such good momentum over these last few weeks and months. And I think this is a period now for Rocketpool to really position itself for this year and all the bullish things that are happening and going into the next bull run, because I think we're really building a fantastic foundation here, getting listed on central exchanges, getting listed on Maker and Aave, and getting Chainlink integration and all of these other protocols that are adding Euler Finance and Yield, Miso Finance, all of these groups are adding rETH, and it's absolutely amazing to see. And this means that once we get Atlas, then we'll get huge demand for rETH, and these are the kind of places that will help us grow that demand and fulfill that demand for rETH. So we'll get a huge supply of rETH, this is the demand that will fill it. So I'm really excited about these Lego piece is kind of falling into place now, right before Atlas launches, because that's when we're going to take advantage of it the most. So yeah, we got like, replies here from Invaze, from Shifrin, from Lannister Junior, lots of like familiar names from our communities. So next we had this, now this is the huge mammoth discussion that started overnight and went on for 4 hours. So it started at around 1 a.m. Eastern, where Denum asked Pteris, could you add all the oDAO page 3 items? So it says total RPL rewards in RPL inception to date, and total rewards, RPL total reward last checkpoint, and average RPL last checkpoint for the 15 members. And then Denum says they get 21% of inflation, which is actually 15% of inflation. And he says, I think each member is getting 100 ETH a year, and number's actually a bit higher than that. So let's work it out. So this started a whole discussion about how the oDAO is like pretty much an existential threat to a rocket pool, and how it needs to be reformed away. And there was a whole lot of people like adding those lines to their screen names, saying reform oDAO now, reform oDAO, and oDAO to 70% metallic bouldering. Just joking about that. But like, this is a discussion that went on for 3 or 4 hours. I'm not going to get into all of it right now, because some of the territory was territory we've gone over before. However, there are a few things that were really interesting. So one of the lines of argument that came up was about how, oh yeah, here it is. So Denum worked out the math rate. So it's 71,400 inflation in the last period. 15% of that goes to the oDAO over 12 months, divided by 15 members, and 0.025 on the ratio equals 214 ETH per member per year, which is a huge amount of money, like nearly 3,000 ETH basically we're giving to the oDAO in terms of giving Oracle information. So that is something that is very, very, very expensive for us. Like, we spend an astronomical amount of money on that. So Jasper and Noshua and Ramana, Sneaky, and a whole bunch of others like Denum, these guys were all like discussing it for quite a long time. And I think the idea that they had was basically to change the framing of us saying, no more oDAO, but instead saying the GMC and the IMC need money, and they could do with that money in a way that the oDAO might not, and maybe that we could better allocate the money that the oDAO is getting to go to the PDAO. So let's have a look, or even maybe to node operators. So if you have a look, since the launch of Rocketpool, in that time, Etherscan has paid 2.3 in terms of ETH. Super Phiz, who was number 1, paid 5.1 ETH in the oDAO duties. So they got paid. Sorry, Phiz, I love you. I'm not targeting you directly. I'm just reporting. So the oDAO got paid over like about 200 ETH if they've not sold any of it in that time. They were given 200 ETH of RPL if they've not sold any of it in that time, and they've spent in the single digits of ETH. However, Hodger made a dashboard, which, wait, where do I have that? Yeah, Hodger made a dashboard where he figured out like what amount was paid by the oDAO. So the title of the dashboard is "What are the on-chain transaction costs for oDAO functions?" And it says recent discussions about what the protocol pays the oDAO, blah blah blah. So then there's information, and it says some oDAO members run mini pools on their nodes. So when you get this gas information, you're getting information that covers other things, not just the oDAO duties. So he says when you break it down to these 4 functions: submit balances, submit prices, submit rates, submit reward snapshot, then you find the total amount of gas spent, and then there's information breakdown here in this table. And let's have a look. So it says in January, they spent 10 ETH all the way down. As gas prices come down, they spend less and less. So in September, they spent 1.2 ETH in total, and you can see here on the right that Phiz has spent 4 ETH consensus spent 3.891 ETH, and then all the way down to Etherscan, who spent 1.957 ETH in that period. So they've been paid like a whole lot more than what they got, and that was over the last, from January 1st, 2022 to December 31st. So all of 2022 basically. That's what they got paid. So it's a huge amount of ETH that they've gotten. That they've gotten compared to how much has been spent. So Jasper shared this screenshot of a conversation that he had with Joe. Jasper shared a screenshot of a conversation Noshua had with Joe. He says, if we decided that oDAO should get less than 15% inflation, we could also do that like tomorrow. And Joe says, yes, we have the power. So I guess the procedure is like normal. You make a forum post, you get support on there, then you submit an RPIP, then that gets approved, and then once the language and the RPIP is approved, it goes to snapshot vote, and if the PDAO then votes, it should technically be possible to do. However, I'm not sure exactly how that would work with it would definitely be a shift of power basically. So what I'm trying to say is that this is really contentious. There's a lot of money involved, which makes people get passionate either way, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. However, I think the framing is really important, and I might be missing strands of this conversation, so please go back and read it all from the beginning if you're interested. But Ken says he's a rocket scientist, and he's about to be voted to the oDAO with all the rocket scientists. So he says, I would look at the proposal in whole, but I would be open to the idea of adjusting node operator, PDAO, and oDAO proration. I would like to see a larger portion of the inflation directed toward the node operators as possible, my first reaction at least. And some of the community members were saying for it to go to the PDAO, specifically the GMC, or maybe even the IMC. And then Jasper had a comment about kind of asking for a lot from the GMC to just show how limited it is in what it can do, and how we as a community could do so much more if we allocated funds in a smarter way. So yeah, that was a really, really good discussion. Of course, the PDAO discussion comes up like very, very frequently, but I really feel like there was momentum behind this discussion yesterday, and people were kind of like getting unified from it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like maybe a new forum post coming up because of this, or maybe even a new RPIP being written, because we've had forum posts before talking about reforming the oDAO that have gained a lot of traction. So maybe it's worth taking that to an RPIP now, but I'm not sure what the consequences of that would be. I'm very interested to find out what would happen. Okay, next we're changing direction slightly. So Phiz says, am I doing this right? And then there's a link to a YouTube channel, a YouTube video, and there's a screenshot from the video of the Rocketpool stake. I think it's the stake, stake.rocketpool.net page. And then this is a video from a screenshot from the video ETH Stake Conversations with New Ethereum Chat 5. So it's basically a video series that Phiz and his friend Jason take part in. That's been going on for about a week and a half now, maybe 2 weeks, where Jason, who is new to crypto, kind of talks to Phiz about learning about crypto and maybe like transitioning away from teaching what he's been doing before towards some kind of work in crypto related area. And Jason's just kind of like learning the whole stuff. So I wanted to give a shout out to this series. It might not be for all of you because it covers stuff that's very basic and like fundamental to getting into Ethereum. Stuff like, like they've talked about things like, what are some things that everyone should know, like, how to go through an exchange and to get to MetaMask and setting up a wallet and interacting with some dApps and stuff. So I think in this first episode, that's what they're starting to do now. In this fifth episode, that's what they're starting to do. But they've just talked about different communities and different ethoses, and like it's a really nice little series. And the thing that I really love about it is that when I'm watching it, it gives me ideas of how I can talk to people when they ask me questions. And that's a really great thing about it, is that people ask me questions, that people who are new to crypto or don't really know much about crypto, it really gives me a good idea of how to respond to those questions. So thanks for Phiz and Jason for putting this series together. And it's episode number 5. So make sure that you check them out if you are all interested. And they're on the ETH Staker channel. They get published every few days. Okay, so this really interesting thing that Wo did, that he messaged me in the Rocket Fuel thread. He said, I just got this up and running this morning, and he said I loaded Rocket Pool on my phone. So if you have a look at it, there's his phone, and then I think that's the Smartnode stack. Let me see if you reply to my message. Yeah, so he's running the Smartnode stack, just the validator, and the BC and the EC are external. He's testing it with the rescue node. I could maybe run it all, but I'd need a bigger drive. So that's so cool. It's absolutely amazing that he's doing that. I think it's like really, really awesome. I'm not sure what kind of phone Wo uses, but and then Phiz says, is this a SSH session or is it a virtual machine? And Wo replies by saying a virtual machine, and Phiz says, that's insane, and you're insane. And he says, thank you. It's on the rescue node now, but I'm still waiting on the deposit to clear. But I set it up to link to external clients originally. So I just saw this thread, this comment in the Rocket Fuel thread. Marcel says, there's a quote, why is your node offline? He says, oh, I don't get any signal in this building. So yeah, it's really cool that Wo is doing this, and more power to them. Like, we want to see the Smartnode stack running on like your toaster oven in 5 years time. So I'm really excited to see that. Okay, next, so yesterday in trading, Patricio popped in, and he was asking if anyone is flying to Denver on Lufthansa or United, and if they are, they can reach out to him and get free upgrades for their economy class flights into business class, or I think first class, I'm not sure, but like one of the business or first class. So people like were, here's the veterinary, the patrician who was, was saying like thank you to Patricio because they got upgraded, and Elfin Bob is going to get upgraded too, and a whole bunch of people, I think Kevster and a bunch of others as well. So then people were kind of like talking about flying, and Jasper says, I wear a turban, I really hate flying. So it's a reality of flying now that people get profiled and like get chosen for enhanced security, which is really sad. And Disney says, I'm 6'2", white guy, so flying is fine except for the middle seat or bulkhead. And Jasper says, Jasper gives more information, right? He says, as a teen going on school trips, I'd always get selected for the special search. I made a habit of making the agent laugh by slowly pointing out the absurdity of the situation mixed with casual flirting. I always got a laugh out of it. Can't say the same for the agents, LMAO. So that I popped into trading a little while later after this conversation that had been going on. People were kind of like talking about their flights and issues that they've had with them. And I popped in saying, where am I? Yeah, it was a little while later, but there. I said, did you all see my old passport photo I shared here once upon a time? So then for those of you who are watching, it's my passport photo, and I look really scary. I had like a shaved head, and my beard was slightly different, and I was very overweight at the time. And then like I'm 6'4" in real life. I'm really tall, so it was a scary thing. Like if the scary guy hands you a picture and he looks kind of scary in the picture, it's kind of scary. So yeah, and then I said I got interviewed by counterterrorism police like 4 or 5 times at airports, and I got stopped for random security like every time I traveled. I used to fly a lot, so people like really shocked by that picture. And Looking for Owl says it looks like a mugshot, and Astanita says, did you have hair surgery? And no, I said no, like it's just I grew my hair out. I used to shave my head, and yeah, so what happened is then I said I had a Muslim name to it as well, so yeah. And then Dr. Really Dumb shared this thing, Stewie, at the airport, like getting people for enhanced security. Jasper says, I'm now afraid of whack. And Hodger says, wow, holy shit, that looks like totally different from you. And Shifrin says, you should change your you've met POAP to this. And the thing that I really want to show you guys is Hodger made a meme of before Rocket Pool, and it was like the scary passport photo, and then after Rocket Pool, and it's like my Discord and Twitter thumbnail picture. So I thought that was a really, really cool meme. And then Jasper says, Wack is an attractive man, damn. And then Maso says, Wack is a teddy bear. So it was funny. That's a really cool meme. So definitely go check it out. Like I got a good laugh out of it. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is something small that might be changing for Rocket Fuel, or well, for me actually more going forward. Is I've noticed that these last few weeks and months I've been spending more and more time in the Discord, even when I'm not like actively doing research for Rocket Fuel. I sit down and like say I'm doing research, but not actually doing research, and I'm just like kind of shit posting. So a lot of that was happening from my phone. So yesterday I put a message in here saying, so I just deleted the Discord app from my phone. And Sneaky was like, that's better for your mental health. I said, I'm spending too much time on here, and Rocket Fuel is getting harder and harder to get out, because it's been taking, like yesterday, it took me, I think 7 or 8 hours in total. And like I said, like part of that was like shit posting and just like hanging out and stuff, but it was really hard to get it out. And I said, so I realized I could either hang out with all of you and shit post all day, or I could focus my time more and get Rocket Fuel out for you all. And I said, I think the latter adds much more value. And people are just like, do what's best for your well-being. People were being really supportive. And Charles said, like, what a soldier. And the conversation kind of turned into like this discussion about how difficult it is to produce content and get content out there, and trying to do it in a good way, and like in a way that adds value to people. And and I said, like, just being YouTube is really difficult, right? Like being and getting content out there is really difficult. And how some people get millions of subscribers and they still quit. And even today in Discord we were talking about like how Kobe is pretty much like has quit up only because it just gets too much after a certain point. Anyway, that was so you might not see me around in Discord as much. So it's off my phone now, so the only way that I'll be able to use it is if I actually come to my desk to use it. So I'll probably use it a little bit while I'm talking to you guys about Rocket Fuel, and then the other times I'll probably come to it is if I'm like set aside times to come and like hang out with all of you all. So I'm just letting you know, like, because you might see me a little bit less, but I'm hoping that it just makes Rocket Fuel a better product for you all. And it's just, I'm not really sure, but yeah. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to finish today's episode, and I will see you all tomorrow. And I hope you all have a lovely Thursday. Bye.